Carcinoma of the ampulla of Vater belong to the family of periampullary carcinoma. This includes carcinoma of the duodenum, ampulla of Vater, pancreas head, distal bile duct. This is the second most common carcinoma among the periampullary carcinoma after the pancreatic head. This is diagnosed early and hence most are resectable and has a better prognosis compared to the other periampullary carcinomas. Coming to the epidemiology, ampullary carcinoma contribute less than 1% of the GI cancer and 4 to 8% of the periampullary carcinoma. Incidence is 0.6 per 1 lakh and peak at 7th decade of life. Has a male to female preponderance of 1.48:1, and Caucasians are more affected than Hispanics and more than Asians. Coming to the etiology and risk factors, familial adenomatosis polyposis, the second most common cause of death among FAP after the colonic cancer, and screening for upper GI neoplasms, polyps or carcinomas at regular intervals of 6 months to 4 years depending on the degree of the duodenal polyposis. There are various syndromes associated like Gardner syndrome and neurofibromatosis type 1, Muir-Torre syndrome. The Gardner syndrome includes FAP, osteomas, epidermal cyst, fibromas, and the Muir-Torre syndrome includes sebaceous skin tumor, keratoacanthoma, plus a visceral malignancy. Coming to the pathology of ampullary carcinoma, macroscopically it can be divided into intramural protruding, that is intraampullary, extramural protruding, that is periampullary, and ulcerating ampullary. The ulcerating type is diagnosed at an advanced stage and hence has the highest rate of lymph node metastasis. The commonest site of cellular atypia is found in the area of common pancreaticobiliary channel, followed by the pancreatic duct, duodenal epithelium, and Brenner gland. The ampullary neoplasms, 75% of that is adenocarcinoma, 20% is benign adenoma, and 5% contributes neuroendocrine tumors. Malignancies, 90% are adenocarcinomas, the rest mucinous, signet ring cell, and undifferentiated types. Adenocarcinomas can further be divided into pancreaticobiliary type and intestinal type. The IHC differentiates the pancreaticobiliary and intestinal type. The pancreaticobiliary, the cytokeratin 7 is positive and MUC2 is negative. Whereas in intestinal type, cytokeratin 20 is positive, MUC2 is also positive. Coming to the pathogenesis, the commonest attributed pathogenesis mechanism is adenoma carcinoma sequence, and 30 to 90% of the ampullary carcinomas, the residual adenomatous tissue is found, and the precursor lesions are commonly for the intestinal type. KRAS mutations 24 to 47% is commonly seen in intestinal than in the pancreaticobiliary type, and P53 overexpression, that is 46% of it, associated with ulcerating adenocarcinoma. IHC, aberrant expression of the cell cycle regulator, that is P21WAF1 and C1P1, P27KIP1, P16INK4, and cyclidin D and cyclin E retinoblastoma gene are all various aberrant expressions of these regulators are seen. And clinical features include obstructive jaundice, that is 70 to 82%, and in anecdote patients present as cholangitis, they also have silver stools, that is ecolic plus bleeding from the tumor. Diagnosis, the tumor markers increased CEA, that is seen in 11 to 29%, and increased CA99, that is seen in 41 to 63%. Endoscopy shows the macroscopic appearance plus biopsy can be done with endoscopy, and MRI plus MRCP shows discrete hypodense mass on T2 weighted images, and dilatation of both bile duct and pancreatic duct, which is known as the double duct sign, can be seen, or a single duct dilatation may be the only sign seen. EUS, a preoperative evaluation can be done with the EUS. Accuracy of detecting invasion of the adjacent organs is 80 to 90%, and the vascular invasion sensitivity of picking up is 73% and specificity of 90%. Coming to the tumor staging, the TNM staging is used, in which the T1 is limited to the ampulla of Vater or sphincter of Oddi. The T2 invades the duodenal walls. T3 is the invading the pancreas. T4 invades the adjacent organ other than the pancreas or a peripancreatic soft tissue involvement. N1 is regional lymph node involvement and M1 is distant metastasis. Differentiating it into the stages, stage 1A, the T1 involvement, and 1B is T2, and 2A is T3. Coming to the 2B, that it will have regional node involvement. The T can be of 1 to 3. When it comes to stage 3, it is T4, and stage 4 involves metastasis. 5-year survival of all these stages are, with 0 it is 49%, and 1A and 1B will have 40 to 45%, 2A, 2B 33 and 26, and 3 will have a 16%, and 4 will have a 4% survival at 5 years. 42 to 60% survival seen in lymph node metastasis at the time of surgery. And the nodal metastasis is a poor predictor of survival. At 5 years, the survival is 9 to 47%, and for node negative, it is 59 to 63% at 5 years. Coming to the treatment, surgical resection is the only curative treatment, and 77 to 93% are resectable at the time of diagnosis. The standard approach is a pancreatic or duodenectomy. 5-year survival is 59 to 78% without lymph node metastasis, and with lymph node mets, it is 16 to 25%, and extracapsular lymph node involvement, the survival comes down to 9%. The limited surgical or endoscopic papillectomy is not recommended, and because of the high recurrence rate. Adjuvant chemotherapy, chemoradiation. When the study done with Johns Hopkins and Mayo Clinic, where the lymph nodes are positive, treated with 5-FU based chemoradiation, the survival increased up to 28% at 5 years. SPAC3, using 5-FU plus folinic acid, the survival was seen as 58 months, gemcitabine 71 months, and no chemotherapy 41 months. Benefit is seen in lymph node positive subset of patients, and no studies for the benefit of palliative chemotherapy or radiation. For palliative treatment for unresectable includes endoscopic or percutaneous biliary stenting or surgical bypass. Thank you.